Hi guys, I'm Emily, and I'm going to talk to you guys today. Growing up, I never assumed that some people might think my family as different. We lived in an ordinary house, in an ordinary neighborhood, and did ordinary things like ordering pizza every Sunday for dinner. Sometimes I would get questions saying, "Hey Emily, why don't you have a dad?" And I would just respond, "I don't." And most kids don't push it farther than that. I had two moms, and that was that. As I got a little older, I kind of got to understand what being gay might mean. And I also came to understand what other kids might mean when they say, "Oh, that's so gay." So having that association with the word gay, I kind of became withdrawn with telling people that I had two moms. I was worried what people might think of my family, and selfishly, what they might think of me. One day in the playground in 4th grade, a girl came up to me and asked, "Emily, are your parents gay?" And I didn't take that well. I assumed that she was asking out of malice, and I ran off crying. And I'm sure she was just asking out of genuine curiosity, but still, it made me withdraw even more about who my parents were. But my moms, on the other hand, they never held back. They would attend parent-teacher conferences together. They would sign my permission forms for field trips as both my moms. They would go to PTA meetings and present themselves as Emily's moms, and they were always just much braver than me. My hesitancy had to come to an end at some point, and that was when my two mothers joined Tim Bostick and Tony London as plaintiffs in the case Bostick v. Rainey, which was the marriage equality case in Virginia. We had our first press conference on September 16th in 2013 in Washington, D.C., and luckily I didn't have to speak at it, but it was still a really daunting experience to stand in front of all these TV cameras and just present our lives out to everyone. Our first hearing was on February 4th in 2014. It was a really cold morning in Norfolk, Virginia, and I felt really awkward and stupid because, of course, I'd forgotten my coat, and all I had to wear was my basketball sweatshirt. So I was already on edge, and as we were walking to the courthouse, we turned a corner, and suddenly I saw them. It was a huge mob of protesters. Suddenly, I wasn't so worried about my sweatshirt anymore. They held signs saying, "History proclaims that children do better with a mom and a dad." And I was just hurt by these signs. These people didn't know who we were. They don't know my family. My moms are two loving, caring people. And just thinking that that's what they believed, I just knew I had to speak out. And I had the chance to do that at the following press conference after our 4th Circuit hearing, which was in April, I think. Sorry. I was terrified. My hands were shaking. I was sweating. I was a mess. And I stepped up to the mic, and I was just so overwhelmed with everything, but I knew that it was really important that I had to do this. I had to speak for not only my family, but other families like mine out there, and for myself. There were high-ranking government officials, there were dozens of news cameras, but it was important to get this message, one of the most controversial issues of our time, out to the world and show that it's okay, our family is normal, we are just like any other family. I was relieved once my speech was ended, but I also felt empowered by speaking about what was important to me. Our 13-month journey came to an end on October 6th, 2014. My mom texted me during class, and I promised it was a class I was allowed to have my phone out in. I'm not a bad student. But she texted me, and it said, "We won." And I was confused. I didn't know what that meant, but a follow-up text clarified things. She said, "Supreme Court denied cert on all cases. Previous ruling stands, marriage equality in Virginia." I was shocked. That was a pretty exciting moment, but I didn't exactly know what would happen next. Apparently, there was plans in motion already. My parents were going to renew their vows. They had been married already in California in 2008, outside the John Marshall Courthouse in Richmond, Virginia. Same-sex couples had been getting married there all afternoon since the decision had been dropped. And a close friend of ours now, the Attorney General Mark Herring, was going to be officiating their wedding. So it was a very exciting moment. Now, I'm not one to express my deeper emotions. I don't like to do that in public very much, but sometimes there are times when you can't hold back what you're feeling inside. And seeing my two moms right in front of me, proclaiming their love to everyone in the world to see, I just became overwhelmed. A sob just rose up and overtook me, and suddenly I was crying in front of everyone. And it was a little embarrassing, but overall it was a really beautiful moment because I knew that my mom's, after months of fighting for marriage equality, as well as years of fighting just to be treated as humans, love had finally won for them. So thank you, Mommy and Mama. I love you. And I hope whatever happens in the next 4 years, love continues to win. I'll just go.